This show contains adult language, mature themes, and discussions of violence, abuse, and injustice. Listener and viewer discretion is advised. You are now entering the Body Count Network's Beyond the Crimson Wire podcast. The opinions discussed are based on personal experiences, public records, online research, and news sources. We are not professionals or law enforcement. We encourage everyone to do their own research, follow the evidence, and come to their own conclusions. So, before we even get into Alabama's prison system tonight, I want to stop for a second and talk about something that's really huge and dear to my heart. Because no matter what people think and no matter how hard folks try to downplay it, Danny Dandridge, this man right here, he's helped bring national attention to what's happening inside Alabama prisons. And I'm so glad to
Yeah,
see you again.
I'm
It's
so
been a
glad to
while.
see you. It's been a while. We've been
It
going through a
has.
lot of trials and tribulations, both on both ends,
Yeah.
and we had to make some changes and everything, but we back.
We back.
We
We
back and
back.
we back. We
We
back.
back.
We back.
so, so people watched the Alabama Solution on HBO and they saw pieces of the reality Alabama inmates live every single day. Violence, fear,
Okay.
overcrowding, corruption, hopelessness. And Danny, you didn't just sit back quietly. Not at all. I mean, you put your face and your story out there knowing damn well there could be backlash. I mean,
Yes.
you risk
Yes.
your life.
Yes. Freedom.
Mhm.
Yes. Risk my life, risk my freedom, parole, everything for that documentary. I mean, it was needed. You know what I'm saying? It was either, we gonna record videos, we gonna get it out there to the world to see. Are we just gonna stay there, lay there and die? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
We had to stand up. It took a team of leaders to come together as one in different facilities for we can get the message out there. So we had to come together, and we had to put down, you know what I'm saying? So I just and the facility, the camp that I was in, I was there by myself filming. I wasn't with nobody else and then like that. I was by myself, standing up, fighting for the people. I was getting harassed. They was, put me in SIG and lock up and stuff like that. But that's not gonna break me. You know what I'm saying? Because you violate my constitutional rights every day. You violate procedures, you violate everything that it is, everything it is.
That's right.
Alabama Department of Correction is not right.
At all.
It's not right. It's nothing, no rehabilitation, so you got to rehabilitate yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's what you
Absolutely.
got to do. So I took it upon myself to, hey man, this was going on. I talked to a guy that was actually in a dorm with me probably about 2 weeks ago, and he said, man, look where you at now. He said, man, people used to get mad because you used to shoot them videos. He said, but with you didn't care. I didn't, because I'm fighting for a change. I'm gonna fight. I don't care who like it or how they feel. I'm gonna keep fighting.
Right.
And
And you haven't
we
stopped.
yeah, even now,
Even
I'm
now,
still fighting.
you've been out how long? 2 years? 2 full
Right at
years.
3 years.
Almost 3.
Right at
That's
3
right.
years now. Nah, it's at 3 years now.
Listen, this
3
man
years.
right
It's
here, I'm telling y'all, he hustles in his sleep and dreams of change for so many people, not just what change needs to happen and has to happen. I mean, it's demanded in the prison systems, but also change out here with us
That's
for the
right.
youth and for people on parole or people that are
That's
coming
right.
out of prison to help them in the change from being there to coming out in the real world. I mean, Danny, I've already told you this. I tell you this all the time. You are really my hero and have been since the day I met you.
Thank
But
you.
you really became
Thank you.
a lot of people's hero because the documentary was being talked about in Oscar conversations. I mean, Oscar
Oh yes.
conversations. I mean, you need to think about that for
Yes.
a minute. A man from Alabama who lived through the system helped expose issues so massive the entire country started paying attention. And you know what?
Yes. Yes.
Before we move on, I want you to tell everybody a little bit because somebody went to Hollywood. Somebody went to the Oscars and we want to know all about it. So give us a rundown. What was it like?
Well, it was definitely uh a lifetime, the chance of a lifetime experience. You know, I'm grateful for it. Coming from where I came from, doing time in Alabama, injustice prison system, and getting out, getting released, and within 2 years and like 10, 11 months, attend the Oscars in Hollywood, Academy
That's
Awards.
incredible.
Man, man. So what was really amazing to me when I got there and we got around the people, all the promoter producers and actors and stuff, what really was amazing to me how so many people knew who I was.
That's so awesome.
I I did not have no idea. I just was doing God's work, letting God use me, and I'm
Yes, you do.
just keep going. I didn't have no idea that, you know, my name was getting called in rooms that were so big, and the people wanted to meet me. When I got there, they was pulling up left and right, like, "Hey, we wanted to meet you in
I'm so
person. We
proud of
wanted to
you.
meet." Yeah, yeah, a lot of actors, celebrities, producers, not just HBO, but Warner Brothers and other networks. Yeah, so it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. When I tell you, God is good, and
All the
God is
time.
definitely using me, and I'm gonna continue to do His work. But it was amazing for me to meet everybody that wanted to meet me, and I wanted to meet them too, of course.
I can
But
imagine.
yeah, yeah, and we had a nice time, and you know, uh, we just gonna keep pushing. We got it. We gonna keep pushing. We got it out there, for the world to see. What's going on in Alabama prison system, and hey, we gonna keep going. But I had an amazing time. I made some connections and met some good people that's really want to hear my story. They say, "Hey, man, you got to get, you know, more and more people now. They wanna know, they
They
wanna know
do.
my
They wanna
story."
hear from you.
So
People wanna hear from
yeah,
you. And, we've been going through things right now in both of our lives. You've
that's
been,
right.
hitting the ground running and doing everything with your nonprofit to helping with the schools that you've,
Yes,
created for the children.
yes,
The list goes on. We've been fighting cancer over here and kicking it. You know what?
yeah,
At the same time, it still didn't stop, people contacting me about you, people asking me, "Well, where is he at? What's going on? How's he doing?" But when I was able to say, "Guess what, y'all? Danny's on his way to the Oscars," and then you sent me the video of you in the airplane, and I mean, it just I cried
yeah,
because it was such an honor
yes.
to watch you experience that, and you deserved every bit of it. And so we're
Thank
proud of
you,
you, all of
thank
us,
you,
and Alabama, you should be damn
thank
proud,
you.
damn proud, and I mean that. That right there's why this matters the most. I mean, you take someone who's been inside those cells, who made the changes without the resources, and then ended up
Yeah,
getting out and went to the Grammys, and we ain't through. He ain't through. So I'm just,
yeah.
I had to give him a little props because that was such an honor to experience through you and to be so honored and proud to know you and to do this what we do here at the Body Count Network together. I couldn't be more proud and more honored. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, a lot of people, they see me now. A lot of people know our family and our friends that knew me when I was in my foolishness before I went to prison. They see me now and they be like, man, Lord have mercy. They
I
like,
can imagine.
man, God is so good, and
He is.
I inspired a lot of people that I didn't even much know, that people come and say, man, you inspire me. The way you living now and the way, because we know how you used to be, like you inspired me to want to do right and, do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm doing.
Well,
I'm
you
gonna keep
are.
doing. I'm gonna remain humble. And when you in a position like this, of course the enemy gonna attack.
Absolutely. That's when the enemy
When I
does.
tell you, yeah, you see how long it been since we've been able to record.
Yeah.
You know, from your end and my end, we
Yeah.
both been going.
It has been
But we
something.
remain strong. Yeah, we
We
gonna
did.
remain strong. We gonna depend on God.
And we've come back together
And
and we are taking over.
that's right.
We have a
That's right.
lot
That's
of
right. And it ain't no
exposing.
stopping.
No, a lot of exposing to do, a lot of changes that need to be made that we're going to bring to y'all's attention. You know, it's crazy. It's wild to me. Instead of Alabama leadership taking over the moment to say, hey, maybe we should fix this because of the Alabama solution. And when it happened, a lot of the energy went toward damage control and protecting reputations. So I'm going to throw up a clip here.
Her name is Kay Ivey, and she and Steve Marshall, who's the Attorney General, are kind of presiding over this very deadly system. I'd like to believe they don't know everything that's happening in the system, but that's a little hard to imagine. She didn't react at all to the film since it came out at Sundance.
Really?
They had no comment. But then, when the film got nominated for the Oscar, she came out with a statement that was, we always knew the Oscars had a low bar. So, here she is getting into fisticuffs with the Oscars. So we thought, well, in a way, let's try to meet this with kindness. Maybe she doesn't know what she's doing. She's called Meemaw. Maybe there's a grandma in there somewhere that would be worried about this. And so we reached out to her and to Steve Marshall, the Attorney General, and we said to them, we'd like you to come to Los Angeles, March 14th. The day before the Oscars. We'd like you to watch the film with us and with the family members of some of the people who have lost their children in this system. 1,500 people have died in that system since we started making the film. And then we'd like you to acknowledge the problem and then come with us and those families to the Oscars. And so we reached out to her and invited Steve Marshall in the hope that there can be some kind of realistic meeting of the minds, or she can say, look, I'm going to stop denying this as a problem, or Steve Marshall's going to stop denying this as a problem.
Have you heard back?
We have not heard back yet, but we're hopeful.
While politicians are busy smiling at press conferences, talking about progress in mega prisons, families are still going through and getting horrifying phone calls. Inmates are still being murdered and dying. Officers are still overwhelmed or corrupt. Drugs are still flooding facilities. I mean, Danny, not much change. And they think the mega prisons, and we talked about this in episode 1 and 2, but it's a joke. It's going to make it worse. But
Yes.
what
Yes.
are you thinking about that? Like, I
What
mean,
I think, for one, it's still a lot of work to do in Alabama.
a lot.
We exposed them. We exposed the prison system. We exposed ADOC, and they still haven't took forth an effort to try to change anything.
No,
So that goes to show the people, really, the leadership.
it does.
Because what kind of leadership do we have? And
I
then,
mean, we know how I feel about KIV, but don't get me on that rant just yet.
and that's
mean, we don't.
exactly who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
But at the same time, y'all just this. That's just like Big G,
Oh, we're going
so-called
to get to him
Big
too.
G. Okay.
We're
And
going to
he's
get to him.
still in ADOC.
So there's
So,
rumors, and we're going to talk about that later on, but there's rumors about him.
okay.
And remember, that's about Stephen Davis, correct? Is he the one? He's the one with Stephen Davis.
Yes.
that was in the
Yes.
Alabama Solution, and his mother, his precious mother, and I know you know her, and one day we're gonna,
Yes.
speak to her on
Yes.
here, but
Sweet lady.
nothing, no changes, promotions. Ugh, it just
Yes.
makes me sick. Okay,
So
before we get back into that, I wanna talk to you about something, and then we're
okay.
gonna go down the rabbit hole of the Alabama, but I got to get this out of the way
Okay.
because this is so important because it's coming up
Okay.
this Friday, which is May the 8th in Atlanta. I wanna talk
Yes.
about Georgia for a minute, Danny, because after the
Okay.
Alabama Solution and everything that came with it, people didn't just stop reaching out to you about Alabama prisons, did they?
No. No. They
Mhm.
reaching out to me about because this a nationwide fight,
It is.
and it's still a lot of work in Alabama to be done. But
Absolutely.
it's injustice in the, all the facilities across the nation. So I'd had people to reach out to me because they see my fight. They see the courage. They see the love that I have for people,
Absolutely.
and hey, and they say, hey man, we want you to help us.
Mhm.
And if people that know me, they know if you come to me for help, I'm gonna help you. Any
One way or the other.
if I can help you, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna do what
Absolutely.
I can to help you. That's just how I am. That's just my heart. So
It is.
they reached out to me, a lot of families from Georgia. They reached out to me and they said, hey, we want you. We want you to help us, we want you to fight with us, and we want you to, the protest with us. So I'm hosting a protest, a peaceful protest, May the 8th.
This
You
Friday.
know, this Friday in Atlanta. I want everybody to come. It's especially it's for Georgia, the families in Georgia that have been suffering from Georgia corruption, prison system.
I mean, we know Georgia's
So
corrupt too. I mean, we would
yeah,
be a fool to think
yeah.
not.
Yeah, and these people they had enough. They want to they want their voice to be heard,
They
and I'm
want,
gonna make sure it happen.
and that's what they want. They want
So
it to be heard like
that's what they
Alabama
want,
has been heard.
just like Alabama.
I
That's what they
mean,
want.
they
So
deserve it too. And so that's leading
yes,
you into
so
your next documentary, Danny, I hear.
that's right. That's right. So and they crying out, and they have the material, all the raw videos, and that now I have them because they sent them to me. So now I got a lot of raw videos and
Mhm.
everything that I need, which I'm still collecting, but I have a lot of it
Yep.
to make the documentary for Georgia. And the title will be Georgia Department of Corruption.
I love it.
Georgia Department
And
of Corruption documentary
yes, and the reason I'm so
in the
excited about
making.
this is because you know what that means, not just, "Oh, it's a documentary, yay, yay, yay." It means that
Yes.
people are finally going to hear just like what they heard in the Alabama and see, just like they did in the Alabama Solution, that's fixing to happen for Georgia, and that excites me more than anything, anything. So, yes, I'm
Yes.
very excited.
Yes.
I am.
Yes. It's
You know,
time, and from and the information that I receive, and I said, Lord have mercy. It's bad, man. It's Lord have mercy. They
I can't
they
imagine.
going through it, and now I'm tuned in on the inside of everything that's going on, and it is corrupted. When I tell you it is corrupted, Lord have mercy,
I can't
and they
imagine
will be
what we're about to
exposed,
see. Well, that's see, there we go.
and they
I mean,
and they will be exposed.
the tagline to Georgia Department of Corruption, the tagline says it all for me. The system wasn't broken, it was built
That's
that way.
right.
That's beautiful. And that
That's
is
right.
exactly what is
That's
happening
right.
and has happened, not just in
And that
Alabama,
can't
but in Georgia
that
too.
can't. So the information that I got, that's what I came up with. I said, Lord
It's
have mercy.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
It
I
was
mean, it is
yes,
perfect. It
yes,
is perfect for what rights you are going to be fighting for these men and for their freedom, not just their freedom but their
yes,
constitutional rights. And I'm excited to be
That's
along
right.
and, be there with you. And this is just, again, just such an honor because watching you change the world in a sense, and that's what's happening. I mean, the whole world watched the Alabama solution, the whole world. And now
Yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah.
Georgia Department of
Georgia
Correction. So,
documentary, and like I'm gonna interview 3 women that lost their sons, all 3 of them, different incidents, different facilities, different prisons. All 3 of these women, that's just 3. It's more, but I'm gonna interview these 3 women, May the 8th, where we are gonna interview
mhm,
them. All 3 of they told Georgia Department of Correction told all 3 of these women that their son committed suicide, and all 3 of them was hanging in their cell. You know, was hanging in their cell. These different incidents now in different
sounds about right.
prisons in Georgia. And they told all 3 of these women that their son committed suicide, and all 3 of them was hanging in
That's
their
not
cell,
right.
dead.
Something, no,
No, we ain't going for it.
we ain't
And
standing
I
for it.
feel they pain because I got that kind of hard to feel what you going through because I went through it.
You did. And
So I know
witnessed,
I know how I feel.
you do.
You
The
know,
stories that Danny and I have sat down and had, again, me being from the opposite side when, from the man that killed my husband and him being in the Alabama Department of Corrections and me not caring what happened to him till to today, and me looking at the injustice because of the growth that I've had and meeting this man. I just have the stories are they're gut wrenching, and the corruption is gut wrenching. Um, and I'm so glad you're calling them out. So glad. It's time. I'm
yeah,
glad they reached out to you, and I'm glad that Georgia is trusting you. People from Georgia are trusting you, and of course, who better than you? And so I'm along for the ride, and I'm ready. You just put me to work. We're ready. So
yes,
the
ma'am.
protest is May the 8th. We're going to try to have this out because today is what is today? Uh,
Hmm?
it's that the 5th.
Tuesday,
Today's
May
the
5th.
okay.
Tuesday,
So
May 5th.
I'll have this out probably on the 7th, hopefully, if not before. So people can know that it is May the 8th. Can you tell us more about where it's at in Atlanta, what time it
Yes.
starts?
So May 8th in Atlanta, Georgia, May 8th at 12. It's gonna be from 12 to 4. It will be across the street from the Liberty Plaza.
Okay.
So I put a flyer out because we was gonna be
Yeah.
at the Liberty Plaza, but we had to change it. We had to work within the law.
Yeah.
So I changed it. So it'll be across the street. We would be it's legal, and we would be at the state capitol right down the sidewalk protesting for the families that been suffering, for the people can hear their voice, they can get their story out. And then afterwards, me and my team, the Body Count Network, we're gonna interview one person out of each family, most likely the mothers, that want to speak, and we're gonna interview some more people, and that also will be in the documentary.
Right.
So we working up to something powerful. It's definitely needed. And we gonna make sure that their voice get heard. The families that been suffering, it's time. It's time for Georgia to get exposed.
But there is some news outlets too that are going to be there. So this is huge, guys, and we
Yes,
would love to see you out there for a
yes.
peaceful protest to
Mhm.
start the war that we're fixing to cause and wreak on the Department of Correction of Georgia. Georgia Department
Yes,
of
and
Correction.
and for the people, in Georgia, a lot of now people coming from other states too.
Yeah.
Not just Alabama. People
So
coming from up north, out
really,
west. You know what I'm saying
oh,
too.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
huge. This is huge.
yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
put up the flyer again. This is the flyer that Danny created. It's a beautiful flyer, and this is exactly what needs to happen in every state. People need to stand up, rise up,
Yes.
and fight for
Yes.
the constitutional rights of these prisons.
And don't
Go ahead,
and
baby.
don't get us wrong now. We understand that, because I am a convicted felon that's a 10-time felon, and I changed my life. And that's what we put out there. Everybody that's incarcerated, not saying that all is right, but it's some that have changed. And the way they getting treated like animals. They get treated like animals, so that's why we standing up, for the people that's there can get rehabilitated, the help that they need. You
Exactly.
know, and so
Exactly. Which is
yes,
what's supposed to happen.
yes,
Reform, rehabilitation. You're supposed to be allowed to, and you're supposed to be provided the resources to do so for when you do
that's
come
right,
out and you
that's
don't
right,
reoffend and you do go down the right path.
that's
But
right.
they don't provide that. Instead, they provide
They don't.
violence.
No,
No, right. I mean, the list goes on. It's just
that's right,
it's bad. It's bad. Well, I'm
that's
glad
right.
that we got that out of the way because I wanted to express that about Georgia because I think this is something huge. Um, and we got a lot of
Mhm.
work to do. We're not through with Alabama, obviously, at all. We're going to stay on our state as well. We're going to keep our foot on these people's necks, and we're not stopping.
That's right.
So now I want to catch up with Alabama, though, because there's been a
Okay.
lot of crazy stuff that has happened
Yes,
since we have had
yes,
an episode. I mean, so bear with us because it's a lot. But these politicians stand with these, at their podiums talking about reform. The people who actually live through these prisons are telling a completely different story. And Danny, you didn't just report on this system, you literally survived it. I mean, how long were you incarcerated? 20
yes.
years? Was it 20?
19,
19.
19.
19 years.
Yes.
Um, and look at
Mhm.
him
So
now.
so let me let me say this. So I did 5 years. I went to prison when I was 22. I served 5 years. I got out. I got released, and I stayed out like a year, and they violated me and sent me right back, and I did 14 more. Which equivalent to 19 years.
Right.
So that's yeah. So that's how my sentence went, and but you can go ahead.
Well, despite everything that you went through in those 19 years, you still,
Yes,
chose to speak out publicly while inside those cells, while inside those walls, behind
that's
that
right.
crimson wire. You still spoke out.
That's right.
You still risk your life. I mean, it's period. And instead of Alabama fixing the problems that you all exposed, with the videos and with recordings and everything that the Alabama Solution put out and more, and that we're putting out that Alabama Solution didn't put out that we have. With that, even they didn't fix the problems. It feels like they focused on protecting their image still. I mean, and we're still going through that
Mhm.
every day, and now we're seeing the same patterns continue over and over again. Stephen Davis at Donaldson Correctional Facility in Bessemer, Alabama, which isn't far from where you live. Um,
That's right.
he was 35 years old. He was killed on October the 5th, 2019. He died at a local hospital, UAB, correct? I believe.
Yes.
And after he'd been beaten by guards in the prison's behavioral modification. Um, Officers claim Davis rushed them with homemade weapons while allegations suggest an unjustified fatal beating by guards. Um, the state of Alabama's statement in August of 2024 said that they settled a wrongful death lawsuit for $250,000, though they admitted no wrongdoings. They never admitted to
Mm.
it. And it was adamant. I mean, you could tell the pictures in the Alabama Solution. Oh my God. But you know his mother. You've spoken to his mother.
Yes. And my heart goes out to Miss Sandy Ray, a very sweet woman, and she also was at the Oscars with us too.
I heard.
So
Actually, I
so
saw a picture.
yeah,
Bless her heart.
yes,
I think of her
yes,
often. I can't imagine, for the people that don't know Gadsden, he has been connected to publicly to multiple excessive force allegations and murders and lawsuits over the years. And one of the biggest cases, obviously, was Stephen Davis's, but there's many more. Stephen wasn't the only one and hasn't been the only one. And I'm not going to throw an alleged in that because I've been doing my research
right.
too. But what makes people even angrier of the allegations, despite the controversy, despite lawsuits, despite even the Alabama solution, he keeps getting promoted. And so there's this
He keep getting
uproar.
promoted.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's this uproar on Facebook right now. And it's this protest that's been going on outside of St. Clair. That's where he has been since I don't know how long, but he's been working at St. Clair, the prison at St. Clair, or St. Clair prison. And so there's been protests out there, but there's a lot of chatter on Facebook about him. Like some people were saying he had been fired or moved to another facility. Moving him to another facility does nothing. Nothing. He continues to have the power that he's always had. Just in the Alabama solution, you could see the arrogance and see the narcissist. So I'm gonna play that clip too. I think I should.
Lawsuits filed against you, pro se lawsuits. It's like a pattern there. You see that?
I see what they're alleging.
You recognize that document?
No, I don't.
Can you read that?
These officers then use open hands, closed hands, feet sticks, and a shield to beat me. Stomping, kicking, punching, slapping, and hitting me with a stick and shield. I stated several more times that I was not resisting. Once again, my pleas were ignored.
It doesn't ring any bells for you? Doesn't help you recollect anything?
No, it don't. Because I ain't finna tell you that I ain't never used force because I'd be lying to you. I ain't never used excessive force.
You never used excessive force?
No, sir.
Another man was put into a medically induced coma based on the beating that you and your squad gave him. You're saying that's necessary force?
You can be placed in a medically induced coma if they doing surgery on you. I'm just saying.
Officer Gasson grabbed me, picked me up, and slammed me into the concrete floor while in handcuffs. Doesn't mean anything to you?
I mean, that's allegations, I mean.
So you're a victim of frivolous lawsuits?
Hey, that's what you call it.
At any of the facilities you were incarcerated at? He was?
Yes, because yeah, but I never had no run-ins with him though. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Max Camp, I've been to St. Clair and Holman, so I never had no run-ins with him. He's just a crooked, corrupted officer that's gonna take that abuse his authority. He definitely a murderer. And he one of the ones bring a lot of dope in the camp and stuff like that. He's a low down person. He's just a low down person, and it was wrong for what he did. And like I said, you had witnesses, but they won't even use the witnesses that seen him kill Stephen Davis.
What was the young man that his cellmate that was later, I believe, also murdered? Right before he was to be released, like within a month before. What was that guy's name? He's in the Alabama solution too.
James Seal was scheduled to be released like within 2 weeks.
Oh,
a week, something like that. Yeah,
he was found unalived. He was unalived. Listen to me. He was found dead in his cell.
He's seen Big G Gaston, Officer Gaston. He's seen him kill that man, Stephen Davis. James Seals witnessed his cellmate getting beat to death, with his hands behind his back and handcuffs laying on the ground. And so Big G had something to do with his death too.
I believe that.
Because they were, yes.
From his rectum, mouth, and nose. He was Stephen Davis's cellmate when Stephen was beaten to death by officers. Since then, he was convinced that the Department of Corrections was trying to kill him and begging to be transferred. He was scheduled for release less than a month away.
Yeah, and that's the part they're not telling. You know,
Mm.
that's the part, they saying, people we want to get him fired, for that. But we need to throw that in there too, because he had something to do with that man smoking that cigarette, which it was a hot shot, and it had
I was wanting
fentanyl
you to
in it.
say that. Yeah, that's what I heard.
So
Or
yeah,
read.
so he smoked this. So they put fentanyl in the cigarette and gave it to James Seals
And it
for he wouldn't, for he won't tell, what really happened. That the man then wasn't resisting. His hands were behind his back in handcuffs, and they beat that man to death. Officer Gaston. So
and James was scared. I remember watching, and you could hear he was lying for the Alabama Department of Corrections. He was lying for the correctional officers in the Alabama documentary, but he did say and had said, "Let me get out of here. My life's in danger. I can't talk about this. Let me get out of here. I will
that's
talk to
right,
Sandy, Miss Sandy, when I get out of here." And he didn't make it out, guys. Make that.
because he felt what he felt what was coming. It was he felt warning before destruction.
Yep.
He knew them folk was gonna do something to him. That's why he tried to stay quiet. And then if by us being, doing time in ADOC, we know how they operate. That's how they operate.
Yep.
To cover up a murder, and they know they're gonna kill you.
Yep.
So the people that's actually serve time in ADOC, we know how they operate. That's how they operate. That's why he was saying, "Hey man, I fear for my life." You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to do something to me. I don't want to sit there until I get home. We know how they operate. You know, that's how they operate. If they feel that you're gonna be a witness against a murder for one of them officers, they're gonna take you out. And they've
Crazy.
been doing it and getting away with it forever.
It's crazy. I mean,
Yes. Yes. And this man was finna get released within a week or two.
Yep.
The way they was thinking,
He was completely
let's
healthy.
get him before he get out and tell what really happened. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I know. There's no
That's how
question asked. No
yeah,
question asked. I
yeah.
believe it with all of my heart. And if you've watched Alabama
He didn't have
Solution,
no
you will too.
That's right. He didn't have no health problems. He didn't have
He was
he was
completely healthy.
incarcerated for a burglary. He didn't even supposed to be at no max
And
camp.
nonviolent, actually. He was a nonviolent
Yes.
arrest.
Yes.
And sentenced to what, 15 years, hard 15 for a nonviolent arrest, pretty much. And he was murdered. Murder's murder. Period. Oh, bless his
Yes.
heart. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. So Alabama lawmakers right now are fighting over remote parole hearing access. I don't know if a lot of people don't understand, but somehow Kay Ivey, the governor of Alabama, decided that she was going to dip her hands into the parole of Alabama. Something she has no business or no authority, should have no authority over. So, we've already talked about the changes of in the percentage of people not being paroled because obviously they make money if they are still there, and how hard it is now to get paroled. Um, there's this woman, and I've been telling you I was going to try to look her up. She was on the parole board, and she left because of KIV and because of this. And I would love for us to talk to her. I will get that to you. You probably know
Okay.
of her. She's from Birmingham. Anyway,
Mhm.
so they're fighting over that still. And so Representative Chris England publicly accused Governor Kay Ivey and the Alabama Department of Corrections of helping kill legislation that would have expanded remote parole hearing access, meaning because all of a sudden when this happened with the parole hearings and the parole board, inmates weren't allowed to even be at their own parole. Like, what? I'm sorry.
Yes.
They weren't allowed to
Yes.
make a statement other than the letters they wrote in, which probably got thrown in the trash. And I think it's one family member was allowed to speak for a very small, under 5 minutes amount of time, and that's it.
Yes.
Now make that
Yes.
make sense. So, good job, Chris England, Representative England, for calling Kay Ivey out on that. You know, it's crazy.
That's right.
Somehow there's always money for buildings, but no transparency.
Huh.
And then the Alabama canceled
Yeah.
a $1 billion prison health care contract for the
Mhm.
Department of Corrections. No health care now.
Breaking news, the Alabama Department of Corrections has canceled a $1 billion contract with healthcare provider YesCare and selected a Birmingham-based company to provide comprehensive medical care and ADOC facilities.
Alabama political correspondent Jessica Umbro joining us now live from outside the Capitol there. Jessica, some lawmakers were surprised by this?
They were, and it's because this contract was supposed to run through next September, so it's wrapping up nearly a year and a half early. The ADOC told lawmakers about this news during a Joint Prison Committee meeting earlier today, and this contract cancellation follows YesCare's failure to pay staff on time earlier this month. This contract was signed in 2023, and at the time, lawmakers questioned YesCare's financial history and ongoing lawsuits. Today, ADOC says it's under an emergency health care contract with NAFCare, but offered few details on what services will look like during this switch.
It's an emergency contract with NAFCare. We want to make sure that the population get the care in which they should receive. So we want to make sure we move in that expeditiously.
We can't run YesCare's employees out and then replace
No, sir.
them. Oh, so
No, sir. No, sir.
NAFCare will assume.
It will be a sprinkling of probably leadership, but the core of the boots on the ground will be there for the transition.
Now, NAFCare says that they're working to finalize what they call an emergency takeover of the ADOC's healthcare system by May 3rd. They said that that would include retaining and employing all YesCare staff. We're also working on getting answers from the governor's office, the ADOC, and YesCare on this sudden decision.
I
That's
mean,
right.
which,
That's right.
I mean, Danny, let's be
How?
honest. I just want to ask about healthcare. How many people did you witness not survive injuries or an illness because they were not properly helped medically? I mean, how many?
Sir, it's so many over the years. So you got 19 years, and I've been to 16 facilities, 16 different prisons. So every prison that I went to, I witnessed this. I witnessed this. That's how many prisons I've been to, 16 of them.
Isn't that crazy?
And I witnessed, yes, I witnessed that for one, the healthcare.
It's a joke.
I seen inmates get denied healthcare because their clothes was dirty. They have dirty clothes on. So the nurses or I don't want to touch him because his clothes dirty. And you gonna sit there, you gonna sit there and let him die? Because his clothes dirty? Or he, smell a certain kind of way? Yeah, they wouldn't even touch him.
People like that have no business in healthcare whatsoever. No business in it. I don't care where you are a nurse at.
You don't have. That's right. You don't deserve to be a nurse, a doc. You don't like you said. You don't deserve to be in nobody healthcare.
No.
If you got that type of attitude, and that's the type of attitude that they have. And I mean just about all 16 that I've been to.
They need
people that really care for people that's in the healthcare.
They do.
And
They
then,
do.
Let me go back to this parole board for a minute.
Oh.
That we just were talking about. Kay Ivey denied that bill to let the people that's incarcerated, do the virtual for the parole board can see, who going up and stuff like that.
Used to they bring them to the parole. Because when Matthew, my husband's
they stopped
murdered,
that long time ago.
Well, used to, that's what they did in the early 2000s. And
yes, they did.
I mean, I think
They did.
You should have a right to sit in front of your peers. I mean, I mean,
Well,
am I
that
crazy?
was long. Yeah, they was doing that long time ago.
I did.
I'm speaking about the parole board.
Yes, one of my favorite
Speaking about the
subjects.
parole board,
Yes.
they going by a jacket, you know. So every inmate got a jacket. Everything that you did in prison, your medical, medical is confidentiality, but your disciplinaries or programs, whatever you did is in that jacket.
Mm-hmm.
You got guys that came in when they was teenagers and they've been locked up 20, 19, 15, 10 years. They go up for parole. They set them off. Say they come in, they 16, 17. They do 5 years, go up for parole. They set them off. Then, so now you waited, you in 5 years, you go up again. They still going by that same paper from when you came in, when you was 16, 17.
So,
And
so
they
they're
look
not
at this
doing.
paper.
They don't do anything for the last 5 years?
No.
Any changes or anything? It's still going back from the beginning? That's crazy.
They looking at us the same jacket and saying, "Oh, set him off. He got a disciplinary 8 years ago. Set him off. He got a disciplinary 5 years ago. Set him off." So you mean to tell me that the parole board really don't think not one time that people can change? Because look at me. I'm prime example.
I agree. I mean, you know how I feel about pedophiles. I don't believe there's any change for them, but yet they're treated like gods in prison. So that's not for them, but others that are incarcerated, other men and women that are incarcerated, I believe have an opportunity to change if given. And again, that's what we're also fighting for, is because they don't have any resources to reform at all.
That's right. That's right. That's
So-
right. You got to educate yourself. You got rehabilitate yourself, like I did. And a lot of them don't do what I did. A lot of them take the other route. To keep doing it, stay in their foolishness. So
it's sad.
It's actually it's a lose-lose situation if you break the law and you go to prison. They gonna try to destroy you and not rehabilitate you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you were rehabilitated, and again,
Thank you.
You say
Only
to me,
by
you're
the grace of
changing the
God.
world. Yeah.
Only by the grace of God. I give God the glory.
I agree. I do too. Okay, so we talked about the $1 billion prison healthcare contract when families question how many deaths got dismissed as natural causes. But here's the thing. The state audit exposed weak oversight, missing reports, weak record keeping, and healthcare spending reports that were never filed. So how are we supposed to blindly trust a system that can't even properly track its own damn records?
It's not surprising to me because they do everything else wrong.
I mean, I agree, but they've got the Department of the Department of Justice, the DOJ. They got the DOJ on, right? DOJ. Am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yes.
Department of Justice.
Department of Justice.
The United States Department of Justice on their butt. Alabama does. And there's no change. They don't care. Like,
no. Listen, mister. Before I was filming videos before I met the reporters and everything, the filmmakers for the Alabama Solution.
right.
I was sending videos to DOJ. I was sending them to them for they can come in and have a prison takeover. So I was already sending. When I tell you DOJ got enough, they got more than enough evidence to go in and take over. They got more than enough evidence.
I know they do.
But for some reason, They got more than enough. And now they got a whole lot from me, but they got a whole lot from other guys too in different facilities. They got a whole they when I tell you they got way more than enough to go in and take over ADOC. But they
That's
won't
why
do it.
that's why we have to keep this out. That's why we can't just let the Alabama Solution just be a documentary that happened last year or that aired last year. That's why we have to keep doing what we're doing because nothing's going to change. We have to keep our feet on their necks. Period. We have to keep talking
That's right.
about it. They
That's right.
actually they put Greg Lovelace into as the new Alabama Department of Corrections commissioner this past month. Do you know who that is? Have you ever heard of him? Think we should do a
No.
whole episode on him.
But one thing I do know, if he got assigned that position from K. Ivy, he's one of them.
Oh, he's
It's
definitely one
not
of
gonna be
them.
no better.
He's definitely one of
It's
them.
not gonna be no better.
He's
Mm-hmm.
definitely one of them.
I
I
know
mean,
that.
changing leadership
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything if the culture underneath it stays the same at all. So, what it's like they're like, okay, don't look right here, because we're going to put this one in. So, oh, we changed him. We changed who the commissioner was for you guys. It's one of you.
Yeah.
We're getting the same results. It's insanity. You know, it blows my mind. But we're hearing public reports about people allegedly being moved once too much attention builds around them. They talk about change and they talk about putting somebody else and want to blind us and make us think, oh, well, we'll just put somebody new in for you guys to make y'all happy. And it doesn't work. Even Big G or whatever his name is, how do you say it?
Gaston. Yeah,
Gaston.
Officer Gaston.
He was allegedly moved, like I said, from Kilby or St. Clair is what they're saying, to another facility, which is that's not change. That's the same thing. It doesn't change.
Okay.
Okay, so now I want to talk about numbers for a minute because people hear Alabama prison crisis and sometimes don't understand just how deadly this system has become. And it's because of these deaths, because statistics, I don't know. I don't want to, that's you. I guess what I'm talking about right here, Danny, is me and you were going to throw out some numbers about the deaths, the inmates' deaths. Do you want to read this
Okay.
together?
Yeah. Yeah, we can. To show Alabama prison hit records, deaths, numbers recently in 2023 alone. Alabama prison reported it over 325 inmates deaths. Think about that. That's almost one death every single day.
One death a day inside a state prison system. I mean, I know. Like that hits hard, and that was in 2023. That hits hard.
That's the year. That's the year I got out.
It's crazy.
That's the year I got out. Yeah.
I'm glad you made it out. And I know you're told that by your family and everyone a lot, but I really that's scary. A death a day.
And it's bad, like, cause you meet guys and you bond with them and you get to know them. Then the next thing you know, you look up, he dead over here in his bed. You meet somebody else, he dead over here. He got killed. You know what I'm saying? Went to another dorm, got killed.
We don't sit here and say that every correctional officer is like Gaston. We don't say that. We're not saying that every death is been a murder, but most of them, more than not, is from not having the proper medical care, not having proper inside the prisons, not having proper what am I trying to say? How would I want to say that? Skills and resources to keep the drugs away, people off drugs, people for their mental health, which it goes back to medical, the resources.
See, far as the drugs and you know, the narcotics and stuff like that, they want that. So the wardens and the heads, you know, the wards, the cap, they want the drugs there.
For
Because
control?
that's how for control, they want the drugs in there. They want them in there. That's why they bring them in. I mean, we can't leave and say, hey, man, I'll be back. I'm finna go and get me, you know, a couple phones and some you know,
Where do you
some
think they
dope, and
come
I'll be.
from?
We can't do that. They come from the officers.
Mm-hmm.
They want that in there. They actually a bust and get a lot of it and then put it right back in the account. That's
Isn't
what
that
they doing.
crazy?
They put it right back in there.
It
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
stems from all the way up. KIV down to the newest guard in town. And everyone in between. I mean, it's just
Yeah. That's why I don't understand when myself, I sent DOJ, Department of Justice, a ton of videos and pictures and everything, and other guys too, in different camps, and they haven't did nothing. They haven't did nothing. They got more than a DOJ got more than enough information for a
for a
prison
takeover.
For a
You know,
takeover.
I guess here's what I want to know. If you can answer, if the DOJ does end up taking over the ADOC, which needs to happen, what changes are we going to see?
Oh, you'll see a whole lot of change because we'll be on a totally different guideline if they take over. It's gonna change the whole guideline. For one, the people that been going up for parole that and did 20,
85%.
30 years, 15 years, 85%, and it ain't gonna be people that haven't did 85. They're gonna be out. Just got out because you got a lot of guys that have rehabilitated. You know, that have rehabilitated themselves. You know, it's a lot of guys in there that rehabilitated themselves and ready.
Right.
That actually ready, but they won't get the chance because they keep sending them off for parole. They don't even know the person they're coming up for parole. They don't know the new person. They still looking at 20 years ago when this man just came in. 30 years ago, you still looking at this same old ass, you know what I'm saying, jacket.
The guidelines
That,
have to
come on, man.
change too. Yeah. That the
The
parole has
whole
always bothered
guideline
me.
will change if DOJ take over.
Mhm.
And it's gonna release a lot of people. So that's why Kay Ivey doing everything that she can to stop that. And evidently she did because they ain't did nothing yet. Because I know for a fact they got way more than enough evidence, information to come in and take over.
I agree.
From the conditions, inhumane, from the killings, from the ODs, from the injustice, the corruption of the officers. They got more than enough.
I don't know
And they ain't
what you're
did
doing,
nothing.
but you need to get off your ass. According to
They ain't
ADOC,
did nothing.
nothing.
And I'm talking about DOJ.
Yeah, nothing. That they've taught this big game, and they've, got us all riled up, hoping that they were fixing to do something, and they're making changes. KIV's making changes now that are hurting what's already wrong. The ADOC quarterly
That's
reports
right.
from just October through December of 2024. There are 63 open death investigations inside Alabama prisons right now. 63 in 2024. 63
That's
actually
all.
in 3 months. The last 3 months of 2024. 60
Lord have mercy.
and then the facilities attached to those investigations keep sounding familiar too, like Holmes, St. Clair, Bullock, Ventress, Kilby, and Bibb. So if you know any Alabama prisons, those names hit really hard, which you do. I mean, you've been to all of them, right?
Yeah, I've been to a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
And then the early quarterly reports from April through June of 2024 showed 80 more opened death investigations. So in 3 months, you had in the first from October to December of 2024, you had 63 opened death investigations, and then the earlier quarterly reports from April through June of 2024 had 80 more open investigations. So whatever, 80 plus 63. So you're talking over
Go ahead.
100 death investigations in just a matter of months.
And Department of Justice ain't did nothing. What more? What more do y'all want?
And that's just the
So
ones
that's
that they
what
report, because you know.
and exactly. Yeah, because it get way deeper than that.
Mhm.
You know, how about
We going there.
how about they go and dig up some of them? How about they go to them cemeteries behind the
We about
prison
to go
system?
there. Yes,
You know,
go on with it.
all the cemeteries
Yes.
that they got behind the prison, and dig up some of them bodies and see how many organs inside them bodies. See, them the ones that they didn't report. Them the ones that the guys that these people were locked up so long
Yeah.
that their family members and everything died off, and then when they pass, they already know they ain't got no family support. You know what I'm saying? The administration know that. They know they ain't got no family support. So now when they end up passing, you know what I'm saying, or getting killed, something like that. No. When they in a position, let me go back. When they in a position in a situation where they not gonna live no more, because from my investigation, the body got to be alive for the organs to still work.
That's right.
So actually, they didn't. So they killing these people, getting them organs out.
Make
their
that
body.
make
They
sense.
killing. They murdering these people,
Right.
and getting the organ. Look
Right.
at them.
Well,
Can you take organs?
you
Can
can.
you take organs
Listen,
out of body
if you need
that's dead?
if you're organ harvesting and you want to use someone's organs to put into another body, there's a certain amount of time after death that you can do that.
A certain amount
But
of time.
most of
They have to be
the
alive.
time they need to still be alive. Their heart needs to still be pumping. Okay? Their blood still needs to
Exactly.
be running.
So
Okay?
exactly. So guess what? Them bodies in the cemetery behind them prisons. Yeah,
Yep.
let's dig some of them up and see how
Mhm.
many organs inside them bodies back there.
Yep. So did you
They
know
murdered them people.
they did? And did you know that now there
Yeah.
is a lawsuit against KIV and ADOC and UAB Hospital, University of Alabama in Birmingham Hospital, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of allegations that organs were removed from deceased inmates without proper family consent. Now, what you want with them? What you want with them organs, KIV? What are you doing? You are
They
harvesting
selling them.
organs, and it is known.
Yes.
Look it up. It is known. Alabama's.
Listen, I got a phone call 3 months ago from a person that called me, and he wanted to tell me his story. And he told me, he said, man, my father was incarcerated and he got real sick. He like father like 80 some years old. And they sent his father to a hospital. They sent him to Brookwood first. And then they sent him from Brookwood to UAB. They stopped. Now the son got power of attorney over his father. He was going up there to see him. You know, they stopped the son from seeing his father. And so after that, the
There was a
father
reason.
ended up passing. So he got an autopsy done on his father.
No
The
organs.
state said, get what the state said. He state property. He state property. When his son did an autopsy on the body, the organ was gone. It was an
Wow.
empty body. And the only thing the state saying is he state property. So basically, y'all saying he state property. We do what we want to do with him.
No, you
With
can't.
the body. We do what we want to do.
The
That's
bodies
what
are
they
to be
saying.
turned over to the family.
So
But Alabama thinks they can do that.
So yeah. So when I got this call from this person, you know, and he told me this, I went to doing my research. Cause I like research. So I went to doing my research. And that's when I found out that the body still got to be alive.
Most
To
of the time,
get the
yes.
organs, if you're gonna use them, and
Right.
sell them,
Well, they're
because
not.
that's what they're
Listen,
doing. So they killed him.
there you go. So hear me out. If let's just say this, well, we'll just take out, because I don't want to speak of his fathers, but we'll just take an inmate who's very sick. You think they're going to let him pass in his cell and then they're going to rush him to UAB to get an autopsy, or not autopsy, but take his organs? No, because the transfer and the time frame is going to be gone. So they take them to UAB. UAB keeps them alive while they take out their organs. And the main question we need to be asking is, what the hell are they doing with the organs? What are they doing with the organs?
They sell them. You get what, 2-3 million, 2-3 million.
It's crazy.
Probably a little more than that.
I'm not even going to tell you the rabbit hole we're going to go down with a missing 19-year-old girl named Brittany Wood out of Mobile, Alabama, and what her family, one of the biggest sex rings that was ever, child sex rings that was ever in the state of Alabama, basically history, and what is connected to all the way up to KIV. Yeah.
Yes.
Just wait. We're gonna talk about that too, because I told you a little bit about it, and we're gonna have us a guest on here, and she's gonna tell us all about what she has found too, because it's wild. So we're talking about from Mobile to Montgomery. Okay. And the ports, and it's disgusting. It's evil.
Yeah. Justice has to be served. I'm going to tell you another thing that they got going on that I found out through research and speaking with different people at Tuckweiler. Speaking with
the women's
different
prison.
women at Tuckweiler and the ones that have been released. All of them say the same thing.
Because it's true.
They got a prostitution. Listen to this. They got a prostitution ring going on with the Tuckweiler, with the women that's locked up, that's incarcerated in Alabama prison system. A whole prostitution ring. And this what they do. When them women get they when they get they level drop down, they get to go to they get their custody lowered, drop down, they get to go to a work release, honor camp, stuff like that. They send them there, and then the different jobs that they put them on, they put them. They tell the girl, "We're gonna send you over here to this job." That's to a John though,
I heard.
and then they send them to different jobs to different Johns.
And guess who
you hear what I'm saying?
Guess who some of these Johns are? Prosecutors, lawyers, judges, sheriffs. This is deep. State representatives. I mean,
and see, they trying to keep that quiet. They got a big prostitution ring going on with Tuckweiler and the women's that's locked up in ADOC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It ain't no way out of all these women, yeah, it ain't no way out of all these women that I talk to.
Listen, we have a family member
saying the same thing,
who said the same thing that you were told, and me and you were like, when we were telling each other, we were feeding off of each other's stories from two totally different people from two totally different sides of Alabama. And we knew what the other one was we were finishing each other's statements from inmates from Tuckweiler. So we will be exposing them too. It's sick.
And that been quiet for so long. They've been quiet for so long. Yeah, they got a whole prostitution ring going on with the women from Tuckweiler, sending them to different jobs to different Johns. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, we have a woman we are going to be bringing in that Danny's really close to, also, that's going to expose some major corruption. So we got a lot. We got a lot to get through.
And on top of that, which I think this should have been in the documentary, but on top of that, they getting them pregnant left and right.
Oh yeah.
The mayor officers that work at Tuckweiler, man, they getting them women pregnant left and right.
And can I say this? And this is not allegedly. I'm not allegedly this one either.
And they ain't getting fired.
They ain't getting fired. And you need to ask yourself, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, you need to ask yourself where these babies are going. because they're not going to their families. They don't know where they're going. They never see the children again.
Mm-hmm.
There's some of them. Some of them do. I mean, some of them that are going to be released soon or whatever the cause may be, but it's not just organ harvesting. It's babies. It's deep. And we're not crazy.
So
This is real. The state of Alabama, the crooked state that we live in. We got to have change. We got to have change.
So the people need to know that ADOC is a criminal enterprise, from harvesting organs, prostitution, murder, rape, drugs. ADOC is a criminal enterprise.
Absolutely.
Money laundering, all that.
Inside and out.
Inside and out. From the top all the way to the bottom.
It's a horror. It's like a horror movie.
Think about that. Think about that. You know, the people. Think about that. We need to push DOJ to go in and take over, for them guys can get, and the women can get rehabilitated like they supposed to.
That's right.
So let's push that. Let's push Department of Justice to take over ADOC.
It needs it.
It's a big criminal enterprise. That's all it is.
So when is it? It's November the 3rd, the election for Governor Kay Ivey, and we need change, Alabama. She has been in there for entirely too long, and all of her people around her. So exposing this right now is like the only thing that we can do. Speak up, be loud. It's sad. And how long are we going to allow this to go on? And then you were talking, let's go back because we talked about the organs, but let's talk about those cemeteries. Now that there's even conversations and allegations surrounding cemeteries holding inmates' bodies, unidentified remains, families struggling to locate their loved ones or properly buried loved ones after deaths in custody. So you were talking about that a minute ago, and they were trying to say, oh, well, they're the property of Alabama Department of Corrections. No, they're not.
Yeah,
not until
they have the nerve.
Well, there was a
they had a nerve to,
yeah. There was a rumor, and we can edit this out if we need to because this is kind of going out there. I was told that anybody that enters the Alabama Department of Corrections, when they do, they have to sign a life insurance that the beneficiary is the state of Alabama. Have you ever heard that?
Yes. Yes. Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
So does that
Yeah,
life
that's
insurance
true.
expire when you get out, Danny, or does the state of Alabama still have a life insurance policy out on you? Do you know?
Now that part, now far as that, I don't know, do it expire when you come home, but I know everybody had to sign one. You know, you're gonna sign a whole lot of papers.
I
And you
would
need to read them
love.
papers.
We
Not
need.
saying that,
We need to.
people need to go to prison. I ain't saying that.
We
But
need to FOIA
yeah,
your
everybody
papers.
there, yes. Yes.
And we were going to do that.
Well, actually, they, it was a lot of my information that y'all had got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
As
we
far as
did.
my, my incarceration, like, so we need to,
We just
go
need to
through
look
a lot
over
of
it.
that stuff. Then
Okay.
I have a lot of it too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that right there blew my mind. It really did. Anyway, we're not just going to skim
Yeah.
over everything and forget what's happening in our state or other states. This with Georgia is huge, and I'm so glad that they're trusting you and coming to you because they need help just like Alabama.
Yeah.
So we're talking about lawsuits, documents, family allegations, organ retention accusations, cemetery questions, missing answers, state involvement in all of it. We're even talking about murder. Like literally. Daily. You heard
Yeah.
one death a day, but I can guarantee you, and that there's been deaths, again, going back to this, that there's been deaths that weren't reported, were hidden.
It's a whole lot of them that not been reported. They've been doing this. They've been doing this since, man, the 1900s. It's been. I'm telling you.
Well, here's the
Yeah,
deal.
it's a whole lot that they're not reporting.
I want you to kind of tell our audience what we're going to be covering, like here in the future, what some of your plans are, what you are doing. Just kind of fill us in a little bit before we close, because I don't think we went over everything. I know we went over the Oscars, and I touched a little bit on your nonprofit, which is called the Fisherman Project. It's a nonprofit that he does that's amazing, and we've talked about it before, but or what the schools that you've done, the HVAC school, the barber and cosmetology school, that's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
But like, what else do we got in store? What does the Body Count Network have in store that you see us growing and doing with? I know, we have the documentary, we have the Georgia documentary, which tell them the name again.
3. So what the Body Count Network will be doing, we're gonna work on Georgia Department of Corruption
Love it.
documentary. We're gonna work on that. And plus, we will be doing another documentary presented by the Body Count Network of the story of Danny Dandridge, which from my childhood, the street, prison, and the redemption side of it.
Redemption. I love that. I got chill
Yeah.
bumps.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be, Lord, it's gonna be amazing. It's
It
gonna
is.
be, the way I see people looking at my fight and the documentary that I'm a part of and help, film and get the information out there, but man, my childhood, the way I grew up.
Yeah.
And it's touching, you know what I'm saying? But and we also
It is
gonna
touching.
do
I've heard some
another
of it.
documentary. Yeah, 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 and we also gonna do another documentary after that. So the Body Count Network, yeah, we finna turn up.
We are fixing to turn
Yeah,
up.
we
And
finna turn up.
also, I'll
We
announce
finna
that
turn up.
we will be signing a couple of extra podcasts that are going to be underneath the Body Count Network. We're going to
That's
sign some
right.
people underneath it.
That's right.
And we're excited about that.
Mhm.
Meaning they'll have their own podcast underneath us. So you can find us anywhere you listen to your podcast. Actually, you can also find us on YouTube, where you can see the actual recorded view of our podcast. And I'm so glad we're back, baby. I'm so glad
Yeah,
to be
we
back.
back.
We
We
back.
back.
We back.
We back. Yeah, we back. And it's a lot in store. Some good information, some powerful information, and hey, yeah, we got some projects we finna work on. So the Body Count Network, yeah, tune in.
Tune in, stay
Tune
tuned,
in.
don't go nowhere, because we coming,
Stay
baby.
tuned.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All
That's
right.
right.
So I'm going to close us out, but I wanted to say again, I'm so glad. I know I said it already. I'm so glad we're back. This was incredible. And we'll see y'all next week.
See you next week. God bless.